I'm Dr. Chris Zimmer, and we're still here. Don't be too upset, though, because we still have a 7-1 left, and we're looking at still looking at Tishri 1. There's no change on that. Rapture, same day. It's just there's a new wrinkle in it, and now I believe we have to follow Israel and look for that crescent new moon. So I checked out renewedmoon.com, and it turns out for an Israel-based observation, you can see down in the lower right there that it's expected Friday evening, October 4th. So actually it would have to show that it's that day at sundown, because October 5th is going to be the last day that it possibly can be Tishri 1 or Yom Teruah. So when is the Feast of Trumpets 2024? Well, obviously it wasn't the 3rd. Like Hebcal, or not, I'm not sure. It was not Hebcal. It was, anyway. So yeah, I think it was. Anyway, some of those say that it's October 3rd, and this is out without looking at the new crescent moon. But we get a description. Wikipedia says Rosh Hashanah, which is Yom Teruah, occurs 163 days after the first day of Passover, and thus is usually, but not always, determined by the new moon closest to the autumnal equinox. The latest Gregorian date that Rosh Hashanah can occur is the 5th of October, so that's our last day for Tishri 1, as happened in 1815, 1929, 1967, and it'll happen again in 2043, and it looks like it's going to happen this year, 2024. So we have Yom Teruah. It has to be guaranteed now because it can't go beyond October 5th. So it should be sundown October 4th to sundown October 5th. And interestingly, the shofar is not blown on Shabbat because 10/5 is Saturday. That's Shabbat. So we're not going to hear a shofar on that day. And that may be to make room for God's trumpet, for the trump of God. 10/5, which now looks like it's the prospective rapture date, to 10/31, which would be the end of the timeline, the 84-week timeline, is 26 days. So with this new date, moving it from 10/3 to 10/5 gives us 26 days left in the timeline, and that, of course, is the alphabetical or the letter equivalent of Yahweh, the numerical equivalent of Yahweh, God's name. And if we count from 323, which is Nisan 1 last year, to 10/3, we got 560 days. And then if you count from that to this new prospective date of 10/5, you have 562 days. Well, the old date gave us hope for again, which in other words is, I guess that's trying to bolster us to give us hope. And then 562 is endless. And of course that's the rapture. Once it happens, that would be endless. 4/7 to 7/26, here's another interesting tidbit. If you go from the day the hour was revealed, 8:53 by that moon occulting Venus, and you go to 7/26 this year for the word harpazo, it's 15 weeks, 5 days. And interestingly, that's the same number that we got from Israel for its inception when that declaration took effect. And if we expand out the 15, we get the 5 plus 5 plus 5. And I think that's where we get the 555 plus 5. But I'm going to throw a new twist on it. And I'm not certain if it's correct, but I'll throw it out there for you so you can take a look and you can tell me. Or this date was also 8 weeks, 54 days. If you look in Strong's, G854 is vanish away. So we have another word for Strong's 853. 854 is basically the same thing, to vanish away. Okay, so going back to the timeline, we were looking at 2 instances of 555 plus 5, and that took us to 10/3. But I'm guessing, what if, since we have 2 instances of that, if we're supposed to add another 2 days? If we do, then we come to 10/5 as the Feast of Trumpets, or Tishri 1. So that would be our new rapture date. And then I just wanted to throw this in. If we change it to 10/5, Tishri 1, and I'm showing the old dates here, Tishri 1, 2, 3. But if we make that one Tishri 1, then we see the eagle on 10/5. And that, of course, ties back into Achaia, where the child was in the sky, and Stellarium. Again, if we count from 10/5 to 10/31, which is the end of the 84-week timeline, that's 26 days, and that's the numerical value of the letters in Yahweh, God's name. And this, of course, is depicting Satan being robbed twice by the rapture. Another interesting thing that happens 10/4, the moon transits Spica in Virgo, and we get a time of this as seen from Jerusalem, Israel, 20202. And that was that time that we saw for the third and final Great American Eclipse over Carbondale. And this, of course, alludes to the 55 plus 125 plus 22, or Jesus plus the church plus heaven, giving us a total of 202. And since it's pointing us to Carbondale, what if we take a look? If we go Moon Spica a Pulse in Virgo, we can see that there is something in Carbondale on 10/3 at 1933. And that points us back to that count that we looked at the last time. 9/23, 1933, Jesus' death and resurrection was at 33, to 9/23, 2017, the Revelation 12 sign is 84 years. So this may have been the pointer that was supposed to tell us to, hey, take a look at 84 years, because that starts all of those 84 counts. Also, this is an apulse. This is the closest they get, to appear in the sky from Carbondale. So I did a little measurement here, and you get 0 degrees, 5 minutes, 13.33 seconds. So this points us again towards 5. And if you think about it, the 555 plus 5, God seems to be saying 5 so much that it may not be just the end of the age of grace, the fulfillment of the 5th Moed, but it may also be pointing towards the 5th of October. So there's another one. Okay, so I did change this for 10/5, and it looks like there's actually going to be one place that it would happen in 10/6, and that would be Tokyo, Japan. But everything lines up for 10/5, including Israel and the United States. Basically the same times, and we have to shoot for that same time, Mazatlan time, because that's when we were given the occultation, the moon and Venus, 8:53:23 a.m. So this is lining up that same time, only for what looks like it's the final, hopefully, the final Tishri 1, or the final Feast of Trumpets this year. Again, we're told in that article that it can't go beyond October 5th. So this has to be the last Tishri 1 date, the last date that we're looking at, 7/1. And we saw that 4 times, 4 different books of the Bible, 2 in the Old Testament, 2 in the New, that seem to be giving us that as a rapture date, that 7/1/24. So this is, as I can see it, this is the last possible 7/1 or Tishri 1 that we can have this year. I don't think we can jump it forward a month, because then that would put it towards the, past the end of the 84-week timeline, so it wouldn't fit in. And besides, we're told that it can't go beyond October 5th. So this has got to be it. Cross our fingers. I hope so. Hope to see you in the sky for real this time. God bless.